Welcome to Ripple Effects, Travelers with Disabilities Abroad, brought to you by the National Clearinghouse on Disability and Exchange, a project sponsored by the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs and administered by Mobility International USA. We know that international exchange can influence personal and professional development. It can enhance one's confidence and skill sets, broaden one's perspective, and shape one's educational path. It can also influence job choices and career opportunities. Let's find out how. For this season of Ripple Effects, we hear the stories of international exchange alumni with disabilities and how their programs relate to their careers. This is part of a new initiative from the Clearinghouse called #LifeAfterExchange. I'm Justin Harford, a project coordinator with Mobility International USA and your host for Ripple Effects. Before Monica Malhotra became our project manager, she used to work as an advisor in the International Student Office at the University of Texas at Austin. For this episode, we get to hear her speak with a former student that she worked with back in those days in Austin. Monica will interview Flavia Nuriji-Mana, who got her master's degree in curriculum and instruction with the support of the International Fellowship Program of the Ford Foundation. The fellowship is no longer available, but its impacts continue to be seen and shared around the world.
Hi, Flavia. It's great to have you speak with us today and share your experience studying at UT Austin, which is where you and I met. So to begin, can you let us know why you applied for the International Fellowship Program and some of the skills you gained reflecting back on your program?
Yeah, thank you so much, Monica. Yeah, I applied for the program because I wanted to expand on to advance on my education, and also because I was a leader by then. I wanted to help my blind people in leadership, of which actually I gained a lot of knowledge from Texas, and from Texas I got a lot of experience from there. Here in Uganda, blind people are not independent. They don't move alone. They need a sighted guide to go with them. But while I went to Texas, I gained a lot of skills in mobility training. I was able to be trained and I was able to move alone on the streets of the US in those vehicles, many vehicles. And I was able to gain a lot of skills of which they impacted me a lot here in Uganda. When I came back in Uganda here, I had to use the skills that I had acquired from Texas. I was able to move alone, and I tried to sensitize my fellow blind people on how to move independently without depending on other sighted people, because moving with a sighted person sometimes makes one too much independent and cannot move alone somewhere. So with that, blind people have been able to move alone, to be independent when moving. And another thing, I gained a lot of skills in computer. When I went to Texas, I had not acquired any skills in Texas in computer. And right now, as I speak, I'm a very good computer literate, and I do appreciate that. And another thing is that I am able to join very many councils. Here in Uganda, we have university councils, and of which I am among. Like tomorrow, I'll be going to Kyambogo University, one of the prominent universities in Uganda, and I'm on the governing body. So I have also been facilitating in workshops. I attend many conferences within the country. So I feel that the experience I got from the UT has impacted me a lot. With those experiences, I'm a person who is now famous in the country, and so many people consult me about many issues. When I talked about Texas, some people ask, how did you reach there? It was a challenge. It was a big challenge for me to go to UT because so many people had applied. We had applied 1,200 people, and they wanted 16 people. and I was among the 16. And considering my level, I was really the luckiest, I must say.
Yeah.
So that one has made me famous in this country, and very many people admire me. Sorry to say that.
Don't apologize at all. And I think you're not only famous in Uganda, but you definitely made your mark at the University of Texas at Austin, and you kind of left the legacy there. We all remember you, and you made such an impact at the international office and with your program, and so it was so exciting to work with you there.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate.
So you're currently teaching in Uganda at a college. Can you tell us more about your work? Are you teaching students with disabilities or students without disabilities?
Yeah, right now I'm not teaching a school for blind people. I am teaching in a college where they are sighted students. I don't teach blind people. I am the only blind person in the college. So that is a very big achievement that I've got right now. Yeah,
that's great. Because
it is very difficult for a blind person to get employment in a sighted school like this one in Uganda. So many people have a negative attitude, but because of the challenges that I made to the government, they offered me a college to teach in.
That's great. How did you do that? What did you, because it's not only a challenge, it seems, in Uganda, but, all across the world, is to see the integration of people with disabilities in leadership positions, teaching, managing, anything like that. Sometimes there is that stigma. So how did you kind of change that and change other people's perception whenever you came home? And that was your goal, was to teach special education. How did you achieve that?
My goal was not to teach special needs education alone, but I needed to teach curriculum instruction also. But here in Uganda, people who have a master's degree are not considered very much to teach in a university. They want those ones with PhD.
Okay.
So that's why I was offered to teach in a college. For colleges, they take those ones with the degrees and masters. And those who teach in a college, in a university, they normally have first class, and I didn't have the first class. And when I applied for the job to teach in a college, there was someone who was on the interviewing panel, and this person was a Ford Fellow, and he knew the challenges that I had gone through and how I succeeded in Texas. So that's how they took me up.
Good. So it's good because we do, we want to encourage people all across the world to kind of take advantage of the opportunities to come study in the U.S. The Ford program is no longer going, but there's still many scholarships and many other opportunities to come study. So it's good that your experience and the skills you gained here, that other people were able to kind of say, oh, this is good, and how you can apply it to your work too, and different things there. So that's good. So when you studied in the U.S. and in Texas specifically, what surprised you about your experience?
When I was in Texas, I didn't expect to get friends from there because I knew they were only Americans and there were no Black people. But I must say that I enjoyed Texas because I had very many friends. Everybody liked me at Texas, especially from the international offices, and even fellow students. And I must say, you are one of my friends, Monica, that I made from Texas, and Mary Lou. There are so many other people that I had so many friends from Texas, and of whom are still writing to me up to now. I had friends in the church. So I must say that that was a great achievement that I had from Texas, and of which I'm proud of.
This is one of my very fond memories of you in Texas. And, I was there, through the struggles and through all the achievements and everything. And it was so exciting to hear all of those things with you and share that with you. And the best part was when you walked into the office with your graduation cap and gown.
And I was dancing.
Yeah, you were dancing and singing.
And then I was dancing, singing, and everybody, I sterilized every work that was in the office, and everybody came to watch the blind woman from Africa dancing. I'm happy for that. And I must say that I made another good entertainment when Darcy and Terry made me a party.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and I got so many gifts from the US.
Yeah.
My professor gave me a gift. Darcy gave me a gift. Terry gave. So many people gave me gifts, and of which some of them I am hanging them in my house.
Yeah. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
Great. Do you remember how you were singing? Do you remember? I would
I
love
was
to hear. I
singing.
would love to hear it after so many
Yeah,
years. If you could still do it.
I was saying, oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. God is good to me. Oh, yes. Oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. He's so good to me. He has made it for me. Oh, he has made it for me. He has made it for me. So good to me. Hallelujah. Oh, good. Oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. All the way from Africa.
Oh, Flavie, that's great. Now I remember it all very vividly. Yeah, that was so nice. So can you share with us how you were able to communicate the impact of your exchange program when you had job interviews and how you got the job you have today?
Yeah, what I was able to give to the interviewers was that the question they asked me, that the first question they asked me, because they expected a blind person not to go to the US. So the first question they asked me was, how did you go to the US? I had to tell them I had the announcement on the radio, and I applied. I did the interviews, and I went through. And the second question was, how did you experience the flights? I said the flight was good. I was in the flight, and when I reached the US, people were waiting for me, and they took me to the university. And now they asked me what do you think the blind people can do in order to teach? Well, I said, blind people can do many things. So when you look at a blind person, don't look at the person as a blind person, but look at the person as a person and what the person can do.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I said that a blind person is a normal person, just like any other person, minus the sight. A blind person is a person who can articulate issues like any other person. Then they asked me, how you are applying for a teaching job, how are you going to teach? I said, don't ask me about how I will teach. Just give me a job, and I will show you how to teach. I don't need to write on the chalkboard in order to teach. So long as the students are mature enough, they are able to write, they can be able to spell words. Therefore, I'll be dictating to them. And the interviewer, the chairperson of the interview, just laughed and said, okay, you can get out. And that's how I got to the job. I was training. Actually, I was teaching them other than interviewing me.
Yeah, and it's like almost your motto, don't ask me, just let me let me do it. I'll show you. Don't ask, just let me show you. Right? No questions.
Yeah, because you see, here in Uganda, people think that a blind person cannot do anything. They look at a blind person like somebody who is dependent, who cannot teach, who cannot do any other job, but just there to eat and do all that. So that's why I'm saying, don't ask me this. Look at me as Flavia. Don't look at my sight. Sight has nothing to do with my brain. If I was able to go to Texas and got a master's degree, and I even defeated those ones who are able, who can see, why not to teach?
Yeah.
So that's how I won
That's good.
the job. That's how I got the job.
Good. And that's great that you're able not to only just take it from your, it's not just about one person with you having that opportunity, but then changing that society to show, if this person, look at what I'm doing and understanding what more blind people or more people with disabilities can do. So that's great. And do you see that, what changes do you see happening in Uganda right now? Or even your community or anything like that for people who are blind or people with disabilities?
Yeah, right now, the living styles of blind people are now changing. Blind people are now getting employment, although majority are teachers. But we are happy because there's no blind who is at home, who is not, who has no job. Most of them are employed, except that there is a lot of lack of jobs, just like elsewhere in the world. So the blind people who have no jobs are like any other sighted people who don't have jobs. Not that they are blind, that's why they are not offered jobs. No, it's because there are no jobs. Yeah.
Good. Well, great. Well, thank you, Flavia. And we will speak to you very soon. And thanks again for doing the interview.
Yeah, thank you too, Monica.
Thank you. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes and consider sharing us with your networks. Also, let us know what you think at Twitter @MobilityINTL or Facebook, Mobility International USA, using the hashtag LifeAfterExchange. And to learn more about hashtag LifeAfterExchange, go to miusa.org.